Let me be direct with you. Chasing the mainstream music industry as an independent artist is like showing up to a Formula One race with a bicycle. Sure, you're technically in the race, but you're not equipped to compete, and honestly, you shouldn't even try. I've spent years observing independent musicians exhaust themselves trying to break into the mainstream, and here's what I've learned from both my own experience as an artist and my research in the music industry. The game is rigged and not in your favor. The mainstream music industry operates on an entirely different playing field. Major labels have multi-million-dollar marketing budgets. Star artists have teams of dozens: publicists, radio promoters, playlist curators, social media managers, stylists, and more. They have existing relationships with gatekeepers at radio stations, streaming platforms, and media outlets that took decades to build. When a major label decides to break an artist, they can spend anywhere from $500,000 to several million dollars on a single campaign. How exactly are you supposed to compete with that? But here's the thing, you don't need to. The mainstream model is built on reaching everyone, which means they need massive infrastructure and equally massive budgets. They're playing a numbers game where success means millions of streams, sold-out arenas, and chart domination. Their entire business model depends on creating blockbuster hits that appeal to the broadest possible audience. As an independent artist, you have something they don't: agility, authenticity, and the ability to connect directly with your audience without layers of corporate interference. You can make decisions in hours that would take a major label weeks or months. You can experiment, pivot, and adapt without asking permission from a board of directors. You own your career, your music, and your relationship with your fans. The harsh competition in the mainstream isn't just about money, it's about access. Radio play? Those slots are largely predetermined by relationships and payola. Yes, it still exists, just in more sophisticated forms. Playlist placements on major streaming platforms. The editorial playlists are dominated by label-backed artists with dedicated teams lobbying for placement. Music journalism? Most major outlets won't even open emails from independent artists because they're drowning in label pitches from publicists they already know. I've seen incredibly talented musicians burn out trying to force their way into this system. They spend years submitting to major playlists that never respond, sending press kits to journalists who never open them, and trying to crack the code of radio play. Meanwhile, their actual fans, the people who would genuinely connect with their music, never hear from them because all the artist's energy is focused on impressing gatekeepers who will never give them the time of day. Here's what I want you to understand. The mainstream music industry's inability to see your value doesn't diminish your value. It just means you're playing the wrong game. When I work with independent musicians through Artenpreneur, the first mindset shift I help them make is moving from how do I break into the mainstream to how do I build a sustainable career serving my audience. This isn't settling for less, it's choosing a path where you can actually win. The independent music economy is growing exponentially. Artists are making comfortable livings with audiences that would be considered tiny by mainstream standards. A musician with 5,000 devoted fans who each spend $50 per year on music, merchandise, and concert tickets is generating $250,000 in annual revenue. No label, no radio play, no mainstream validation required. Your competitive advantage isn't trying to out-mainstream the mainstream. It's being more authentic, more accessible, and more connected to your audience than any label-backed artist could ever be. It's releasing music on your own timeline, experimenting with sounds that might be too risky for a label, and building direct relationships with fans who feel like they discovered you rather than had you forced down their throats by corporate marketing. So stop submitting to that major playlist. Stop waiting for that radio DJ to play your song. Stop trying to get that mainstream music journalist to write about you. Instead, redirect all that energy toward the strategies that actually work for independent artists, which brings us directly to our next tip.